That part.
And
A lot of these things have to happen because see, the things we're doing is just not impacting our lives, but is impacting other people's lives. So due to the fact it may not even be you per se, right? May not even be me per se, but it may be the person that we impact that actually be the one who can change the trajectory of this world and its perception.
yeah,
So all we have to do is continue to be the people that we are and allow God to use us. Because they say like, God don't operate illegally. The one who do operate illegally, those are the ones of low vibrations and low frequencies. They wait for other entities to get to that level, when they drink liquor or smoke weed or whatever it might be, that's going to get them to a low vibration. That thing will jump on them real fast.
yeah, man. I just finally hooked up with a couple of my nieces on my brother's side. Um, one's 17 now, I think one's like 22, and you know, uh, I'm just talking to her, she's talking about like learning about herself, and then she's like, "Oh, Uncle Howell, Uncle Howell, you know, uh, you know, I smoke," and I was like, "I saw this man, 'cause this is Virginia. I'm not sure what the legal age is, for you messing around with cigarettes, but no." She said, "No, no, 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 I smoke weed with my dad,
What? How old is she?
17, 17, you know." I was like, um, my brother, your dad, if
He said, "My brother, your dad."
you know.
He had to make
She's
you
like,
feel
yeah, yeah,
good.
because it really takes me to to a place where I can like just kind of relax and really focus on the things I need to do. And I was like, really?
What
I
did you say
said,
to your brother?
no, he wasn't there. He wasn't
I mean,
there.
did you ever talk to him about it?
I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't even know he smoked.
Oh, wait a minute. You found out. So you didn't speak to your brother since?
No, 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 no.
This is
No.
something recent?
Yeah, this is like 2 weeks ago. So I'm say I'm conjuring up because I no, I shouldn't say I don't know he smoked. I did know about a year ago he was talking about it, about this like achieving this higher level of consciousness through, the use of certain like things like psychedelics. He was reading some book about something about this guy that this whatever group
They
you
have
go to,
retreat. They have retreats for that.
retreats. Yeah, yeah,
Was
yeah.
that
And
wild? How Busa? What was it called?
yeah. And support. I was like, listen, bro. I said, I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I'll tell you this. Anything that pulls you away from reality
Mm.
and makes you feel like you need to achieve whatever they're talking about, what happens when you come back to reality? Are your problems gone? Are the people is the people you hate, that the anger inside of you, is all that gone, or you gotta stay in this place that they're telling you to go to forever? And can you achieve that? You got to take drugs. I said, so when I was talking to my niece, I was like, listen, anything that's pulling you away from your reality, I'm like, you're supposed to be able to relax by relaxing. You're supposed to just be able to relax. You're not supposed to take something to take you away from your reality and then you call that relaxation. That's not relaxation. You know what I'm saying? I said, and first of all, nothing against, I know it's legal up to whatever the age is. I said, but as a young lady, walk around with your lips all black. I mean, do you think? I mean, just like it's like just.
Oh,
I
man.
said, you think that's like something that a young man looking? You're 17 years old, right? Like, you think that would be something that a guy would be like, oh my gosh, look at that woman with black lips. That's so beautiful. Right? I
Yes,
mean,
if they in 40 P's or Queensbridge, yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
They
Well,
gonna buy the lipstick.
yeah. I said, she was talking about it. Well, I put on. I said, but
Howell was funny, man.
yeah, yeah.
Howell, you funny, man. And you
No,
don't even
well,
try to be funny.
no, I wasn't trying to be funny. I
I'm
was
just
trying.
saying in general,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
believe it or
yeah. No,
not,
no, no, no. I mean,
I'm
it's
not
like
trying to cut you off, but I agree with you. See, that's one thing about me. Everybody has different vices. Everybody. And I ain't cutting you off. I'm letting you so I'm adding
no,
on to
no,
you. I'm
no.
gonna let you get
Please,
right back
please,
on
please.
it. But everybody got different vices. Me, I'm not with all that. I don't like I never did. I never rocked with a woman that burned and that was more hood than me. Or I'm being honest with you.
Mhm.
Never. You know what I'm trying to say? Ever. But that's me.
Mhm.
But the wolves, the people that I've that was around me, yeah, it was nothing. It was no big deal. You dig what I'm trying to say to you?
Yeah, even the women, right? Everybody.
Especially the women. Even I'm talking about especially the women. That's the part I just didn't understand. I mean, my mentality is a little different. I'm old school. I believe a woman should act a certain way, certain mannerism. And even my wife tells me, she's like, "Man, you gotta cut that out. That's not the way the world." I said, "Look, that's just the way I rock. That's what I." You know what I'm trying to say to you? That's just the
100%.
way.
Yo, listen, man. All that
That's
noise,
me though. A lot of guys think I'm a weirdo for that.
nah, bro. You done the work to know who you are, King. So
Amen.
people think it's weird because let me tell you something, man. All that old school stuff works, bro. All that old man. You rest ladies walking up, you reach your hand out to help her come up. You reach your hand. You be
Right.
seeing them like trying to like, but then
Yeah.
they put their hand out. They can't.
Hmm.
It's like, yo, I know you're trying to fight it. I know you're trying to fight it, but come on, you're a young lady. Come, let me shake your hand differently than right. I said, you're a woman. I shouldn't be coming in like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I work in a professional environment, and like the women shake your hand just like the men. You know what I mean? And I get it. I get the equality thing, but nobody, from what I can get from it, they believe that if they act like how they are, they're looked down upon, or they're looked as not being professional or whatnot.
Who, the women
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the hood or just in general?
No, just in general, just in general. Like they put the femininity stuff to the side and believe that they got to bring on some different different side of them in the workplace or in a professional environment. You know what I mean? But yeah, I kind of hopped around on that part of the topic there, but it's just
Or what's the topic? I'm sorry, I walked in the middle of y'all talking. I'm sorry.
well, actually, bro, we had 9:20. What's going on? Are they
No,
using
what is
old?
the topic? I didn't know. I was just hopping on to what you're talking about.
So the topic for tonight is having oh my gosh, your brother Kenny, man, you put humidity, bro.
Huh? What?
Oh no, it was the spelling
Having
out.
humility. Uh, when to humble yourself, understanding self-control, understanding
That's
self-control,
tough right there.
having humility. They're probably looking at this like, yeah, having you need some humidity in there. Don't worry, it's
Very
coming.
good.
Coming right around the corner. Don't worry. You better enjoy these cool nights, man.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the topic kind of came out of what we were talking about before, just um knowing when to be humble, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, especially when you might be in a place of authority, right? And you
Hmm.
have folks working for you.
Hmm.
And people got ideas, right? But you're the boss, right?
Hmm.
Knowing when to let others kind of take not necessarily take the lead, but give them a chance to really be themselves and share their ideas and make it a place where um, that kind of different types of thoughts can express themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because I know for me sometimes on that military side of things and then that civilian side of things, the, the military is doing a lot of work to try in certain instances to not let rank be the only ideas in the room. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
They're
but you
trying.
already know that's politics, man. A lot of guys are gonna,
Yeah, they're trying.
a guy,
They're
you know,
trying.
there's a lot of guys that are officers that abuse it. You know that.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, that's depending on the branch, man. It's a that authority comes with, like, almost like a hammer, man. Depending on your rank,
Yeah, that don't play. But
whatever you
even
say.
when they're off duty too, if you're off duty too, these these E4s, E5, E6s, they see an officer, they gotta recognize. You know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. I was on both sides of it, man. There is no act. There is, what I'm saying, you just gotta you gotta separate yourself. You have to separate yourself. You know, it's just that's just the way it is, man. They're not gonna be able to be comfortable around you. It's gonna be an awkward situation. So you go to the old club and you let the enlisted go to the enlisted club. You know? You know?
Mm.
Hi, brother Kenny. Um,
Yeah, I'm just saying, like I'm listening to you, and at the end of the day, I'm trying to reach out to the other brothers as well, so
yeah,
that they could be able to add on to tonight's topic. Because I just made the spell check. The computer was spell checking. That's what the problem was.
yeah. All good.
Yeah, but understanding that aspect, it comes from a humbled place. Sometimes if you don't humble yourself, you will get humbled,
Yeah,
and a lot of people may not understand that conversation because they may have not been humbled before.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of guys who were tough guys and they thought they were tough until they bumped into somebody tougher than them.
Hmm.
And then they got humbled, and they got humbled in a way that when they didn't think it could happen, it happened.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah,
you
sorry,
know,
good.
You
and I
gotta check
think
your
those,
ego too.
would you say?
You have to check your ego as well. That's
Of
important. The
course.
ego will, there's many bad situations. Like three to 30 seconds, you have to decide. A lot of guys in prison are thinking that. My man Shabazz says if they had 3 to 30 seconds, well, they did have 3 to 30 seconds to make a decision. They can go back and take those 3 to 30 seconds decisions. Uh, it would definitely be, different. You know,
Would it be though?
absolutely. If I'm talking about guys that are sitting inside
Right.
doing football numbers. We're not talking about like people that just inside for 3, 4,
Yeah.
3 to 5. Come on. I'm talking about guys that have football numbers that are sitting in the pen, up top. I ain't talking about downstate, upstate.
Yeah.
That's
You
up
talking
north.
about
Like
prison,
guys
you ain't
like
talking
that.
about jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a joke. It's because there's different faiths, but you gotta remember, my sister was a crackhead. A lot of people don't know that. One of my sisters.
Mm.
That's what made me say I'll never do drugs. I drink a little bit, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, it's and she got football numbers. She got life imprisonment. She got
Yeah.
25 to life. It took a lot of letters and took 32 years to get her out. But the point that I'm making is, did she deserve to be in prison? Hell yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'm not gonna say that in life, of course, absolutely. Point that I'm
Mm.
saying is, you got a lot of people out there. I'm talking to young men though. I know
Mm.
there's women too, but I'm talking just the men that are sitting there. The ego, the guys about how that are sitting in there. There's different phases. The first 5 years, yeah, no doubt. I'm here, I'm cool, everything is good. You chilling, you're making a couple of dollars while you're in prison. 15, 20 years pass, you start thinking because you're maturing in prison. Some guys don't. Some guys know that, what, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm not trying to get out. But I'm talking for the guys that stop and think, damn, within that 3 to 30, they're not saying 3 to 30, but they're saying if I can go back,
Mm.
everything will change. There's nothing but a bunch of penises and testicles in prison.
Mm.
I mean, remember, there's access to phones, there's access to internet, there's access to you see what's going on to be able to go out and breathe and hang out and just chill, just sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
You're in prison. You got to fight for toilet paper. You know that. Like you gotta. You dig what I'm saying? This is not a game. So
Yeah.
it is based off of ego, not being humbled, not being disciplined, all those things. If you can go back and change things, I'm free in life right now. As far as when I say free, in the secular world. I mean, I'm free as far as I'm not in prison, but I still say, damn, if I could go back and do this 20 years ago, da, da, da. You get it? I had to check my
Yeah.
emails. It's a lot of things, and I'm free. So imagine the guys that are locked up. Seriously. How about the guys that were out there doing craziness? I'm sorry to go off, guys, but you guys, this topic is serious. The guys that are paralyzed from the waist down or whatever. I'm giving you an example because they was
Mhm.
out there thugging. You're in prison there too, knowing that you dig what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it,
Yeah.
it's painful, and unfortunately, the people that's going to mentor, the youth of me, it's the streets because I live in the ghetto. I left Jamaica Queens to move to Canada, and I moved into another ghetto in Canada. The people that are mentoring you are the street guys, and da, da,
Yeah.
da. Doesn't mean everybody in the ghettos gonna be street. There's great people out there. There's people out there doing the right thing in the
Yeah.
ghetto, in crime-ridden areas as well. But you know, it starts with ego, man. I'm telling you, who you surround yourself with, because you could be a humble individual, but you got the wrong guys around you that's hyping you up. And if you don't have a strong mentality or leadership
Yeah.
mentality, you're gonna follow that crowd, even though you know it's the wrong thing to do, but they're hyping you
Mhm.
up. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot
Yeah.
of times that's when you ease God out. You ain't
Uh huh.
it's no humility, no humility at all with you, your character, any of that. You forget all of the morals, principles, and values your parents taught you, and this is for the younger generation. And then you respond out of a need to be accepted into a crowd who doesn't even know who you are truly because you're outside with a mask on and you're not
Hmm.
even, the same tiny Tim that, your mom raised you to be. You're trying to be big Tim. No, you
Hmm.
really tiny Tim.
Hmm.
But,
I
un-
was just looking at the I was just listening to that clip that you posted with Brother Hess. And we've talked about that, the latest one that was posted, because we
I didn't
talked
hear it.
about
What
that.
was it about?
So he talked about, brothers got to stop with these surface level conversations. You go meet up with your brothers or your friends or whatever, and you with them for like 3, 4 hours, and all you're talking about is sports and the honeys, and you know what I'm saying? You know this issue going on within your friend group, and whether it be the issue at home with the kids or whatever. And ain't nobody talking about nothing, or even within the group itself, there's the one dude who's doing, you know, what he's not supposed to be doing, whatever that might be, right? And nobody bringing up the real thing to kind of get, to start off a real conversation to really you know, come out of this group connection with something, more than just, feeling like you had a good time, you know what I mean?
it's,
You say,
I think it's either a need of acceptance or fear. It's one or the other. Because it's like, you're not going to keep it 100 with them because
yeah,
you feel like if you tell them the truth, you may, offend them. You may make them feel away. But the reality is, if you keep it a buck, you're gonna gain a stronger relationship, a
that's
stronger
right.
bond.
Yeah. The
But a
stuff you
lot of the
chat,
times,
yeah,
people run off of assumptions,
yeah,
so they assume this is how that person is gonna act or respond, but it's already created in their mind in their head. Like, yo, if I say such and such to this person right now, they're
yeah,
gonna respond like this, but we don't
yeah.
really know that for sure.
Yo, about an hour ago, I was at the park. The plan was to go with the boys. They want to go play baseball. Got to the park. They saw their friends. Dad, see you later. See you later. You know what I'm saying? So I'm there at the park with a glove in my hand. I see another dad. I'm like, oh, what's going on? He said, yeah, came here with my son. He saw his friends. See you later, dad. All right. Now the dude is obese. All right. So he sat in the car. We started talking. And in the back of my head, I was like, well, he can't play catch with his son. I can't play catch with my son. So, yo, let's go on the field. Let's play catch, man. So we walked over there. Um, started playing cat. His son came and said, "Hey, Dad, I need my other gloves." So he took the glove from his dad. Now he can't play catch no more. We just started walking, talking, bro. We just started walking. Next thing you know, we end up playing tennis. Then we ended up doing something. We like playing some basketball or something. Some other dads came over, and next thing, and the dude was moving, doing what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? I ended up giving him a tennis racket because he said he's a family of four. But he only had three rackets, so I give him a racket. The racket I give him end up being a racket that his father gave him, like an old style. I give him a more modern one. And dude was like having a moment there, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting out there like, yo, again,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But in my head, I was like, if I just gotta come out and like do something active, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, am I gonna be offending him because you know what I'm saying? Because his weight or whatever. The dude was just like, nah, let's go, let's go. So even though you might hear those things in the back of your head, man, you got to know what the real voice is. That's where I put it. You got to know what the real voice is. And that's why through that growth of you identifying yourself as a child of God, getting comfortable and knowing that voiceless voice in your ear that tells you your next steps, what to do. You got to become real aware of what that is because there is another voice that will tell you, don't do that. Don't try. Why are you trying? All this stuff and say, give up. Don't tell her that. Don't talk to your wife. Just go and do what you want to do because you're gonna offend her. You know what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, man, that humility, man, it's for me, I'll put it this way, it allowed me to grow, learn, and connect with others in a crazy, genuine way, man. Like even like talking to my niece, and then I was like, you
Mm.
start, I don't think I because remember she's 17. When they were born, I got photos with literally them laying it in the palm of my hand, man, as babies. And I still got those photos, and I showed to them. I said, "Whose hand is that?" I said, "Uncle, how old? That's it." I said, "Yeah, yeah." So he said, I look at you a little different. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you're a young woman now. You know what I mean? You're a young woman, you're growing. And I might have in my head, ideas of how obviously how I would like you to grow and, be very comfortable being a young woman and get the schooling and the education and, hopefully, graduate, meet the young man. I have my little thing in my head, but I'm not gonna put that on you, right? You're gonna do it your way, but I just feel like, the thing with the smoking and certain things like that just can define you in a way where, what I'm saying, I just think it's a little off, but out
You just lost somebody.
in a humble way, I was being honest with her. My right, I was from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? I was being honest with her. You know what I mean? And I left it there. It wasn't like you stop doing this or that kind of stuff. But I expressed how I felt. Then I left it alone. Yeah. Is that brother Dwayne just hopped on? Texas style. What do you got there? Texas. What's that?
He
Chicken
got
and
some
waffle?
ribs. He got some ribs. I ain't got
Oh,
my
really?
reading. I got to put my glasses on so I can see his picture. Hold
We
on.
definitely got some food on the table over
Let me
there.
see.
So chicken and
Oh yeah,
waffle.
he got some ribs, some
Double.
ham, something else.
Mm.
Brother Dwayne probably in motion right now, just tapping in and
Yeah, he's
listening like a
working. He's probably
mother.
working.
Yeah,
But I
but look,
mean, the whole understanding of humility, man, is first, a person have to be willing and have that understanding within themselves because a lot of the times people go to jobs and they are more aggressive, they're more um likely to speak back when they didn't need to. So I think like being, having that spirit of humility, it literally puts you in a humble place. And once you're there, you like, you look at things different. And I'll just say me, for instance, and I'll keep it on the eye. I was at the Hamptons this weekend, and
Oh,
I had to provide security services for a wedding. Now, a wedding isn't really nothing gonna, go jump off at no wedding
Shouldn't
unless,
mm,
you got
be.
some other things happening.
mm,
But this here is a whole bunch of wealthy and rich Caucasian folk. There is, when I say none of us, um, other
mm,
than those who were working,
mm,
um, that's what it was. So, outside of the other employees, they were they didn't speak English.
mm.
So you can get a mixture of what it is. So we got a bunch of black and brown folk in
And
the
brown people.
building. So, one of the ladies, which is the mother of the groom, she walks by and she says, "Can you pick that up, please?" I looked at her.
To you,
Yeah, I
pick
looked
what
at her.
up. Pick what up.
Listen, it was some flowers. It was the little white buds from the roses when you put the roses together and you put the little white
And you're
buds
doing
in them.
security only. You're not part of
Yeah,
the
I'm not
catering
doing none of that,
service.
anything else. So for me, in my head, I went directly on defense and I was like, I shut down. I was about to just, say whatever from my emotions. Then I thought to myself, humility. Then I
Mm,
thought to myself, I'm humble. Then I
mhm,
thought to myself, I'm not that person anymore.
Picked it up.
mhm,
So I picked it up. I picked it up and I put it to the side, put it on the railing, just out of the way. Because it was from honestly, 'cause I was looking at it like, why is it there in the first place? Like I wasn't about to
yeah.
pick it up because I
Right.
know is this part of your decor? Is this what you want with the rose petals? Like I don't know. So I'm just sitting there, but in that instant, I felt like I didn't feel less than myself. That's one. I did not feel less than myself. I
Mm,
actually felt like growth and development.
mm,
I actually felt like I am no longer um in the same mentality that I used to have, um, you know,
mm,
just navigating through life. So my rudder is on correct right at this point in my life.
mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? My rudder is on correct. And when I say rudder, for those who probably be listening, a rudder is one of the most important things a boat can have when you're a vessel
Oh,
in the
of
water.
course.
You know what I
That's
mean? And
direction,
if you
man.
don't
Yeah.
have a rudder, you just floating aimlessly.
Yeah.
And that ain't what I'm doing. So, and in that instance, I passed out, several business cards to some philanthropists that were not, if they didn't know about Fathers Alive in the Hood that night, they knew about them after the end of the night.
Yep.
So, and that was the perspective that I came from because again, I know how I can read the room. And as I read the room, it was about making a wise decision and then also looking at the bigger picture. I'm in here with people who are wealthy and rich,
Uh-huh.
but my problem is when I observe our people want fame along with being rich. See, the
Mm,
thing with these people
Mm,
is when they
yeah,
become
go ahead.
rich and wealthy, they don't want the fame with it, so they
Mm-hmm.
can live a comfortable life.
mm,
Like I really understand now from having that experience that the comfortability is definitely in riches and wealth. There's no
mm,
comfortability in fame
Mm-hmm. Brings
because
unnecessary attention.
everybody's in your business.
Mm-hmm.
True indeed, true indeed. Peace, brothers, peace. Yeah, my mic was
Oh,
muted. Um,
what's up, Ribs?
that's the wrong picture. But
Mhm.
that's just what we do down here. It's all good.
Oh,
But
I know all about it. Go ahead.
what? Let me go back to what Brother Howell. Did you invite that brother to join the session? The brother that was obese, because we talking. You talking with people. You getting out there, and like I say, I meet people, and like it's with people they putting on the mask, and I tell them no, we have a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, this is a safe space where brothers can come they can build, they can lay it on the table. I said, because we have all generations, you know what I'm saying? We got Gen X, we got some baby boomers, we got Gen Y, Y, whatever it is, the whole alphabet, you know what I'm saying? So we learn it from each other. Because sometimes we can learn from the young ones because they know things that we don't know because they see it in a different perspective. Okay. And like Kenny said, I went to because I had to go, my son graduated, he got his master's in public health in Cleveland. So I went to that graduation. I had my faith so the hoodie on and everything like that. And coming back, standing online to get something to eat, and the white guy says, "Huh? Can I ask you about what is that?" And so I broke it down, started talking to him. He says, "Okay, thank you for sharing." He said, "Well, do you take donations?" I said, "Well, sure we do." I said, "Go to the website, Father's Love in the Hood, and you can look it up for yourself, and you can see, the different things that we do, and we are a 501c3, so we do definitely." He said, "Well, because I'm into philanthropy. I love giving back." So that's what it's all about. You just be out there. And I see people, I got a lot of people, I'm coming up with them, catching on to them and catching the air and just speaking, truth to power about what we got
So
to do.
one of the things I also learned was you have people like ourselves who will grow up in the hood in various areas, with the society, and we go through some kind of shape, form, or fashion of a struggle. And when we go through the struggle, that gives us not only the strength we need, but it gives us the purpose. We start looking for purpose out of those struggles.
Mm-hmm.
And we come up with things like fathers alive in the hood, or you know what I mean, 100 men, 100 suits, and we come up with things out of these out of that purpose because we were going through something. And what I realized is a lot of the people that we would look at to be philanthropists are actually what you call trust fund babies.
Uh-huh.
They were born and they were already, born into the millions. They were born into a wealthy family, so they don't really have a purpose. So it's bad to have a purpose and don't have the money, and then have the money and don't have a
And no
purpose.
purpose, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well spoken.
True indeed. True indeed. But
You know,
that's
so I
that's
think going through the humility stages, it goes for both ways, but everybody has to have a humbling stage and a humbling time in their life to get to that place. And sometimes, a person with all of that money, they have to probably lose it in order for them to be humble. You'd be like,
yep.
damn, I didn't know it had to be this hard, or this, I didn't know how I had to go through all of this just to, you know, I gotta work now. Yeah, now you,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I think what was the movie? I think it was Eddie Murphy,
Trading places.
Straight in Places.
Yep.
Perfect. Perfect understanding of humidity at its peak. And watching how that whole movie unfolded was like
Hmm.
tremendous. It was tremendous. And knowing that in real life you have people who are mentally like that. They think that they're bigger than God himself.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, they may not even believe in God. They believe that it's the universe. It's good karma or it's bad karma. You get what you give. Now, I don't knock how people may look at things or even have their own train of thought. But what I do is I encourage people to take time to identify those intimate times when something higher than yourself was in your presence, and you knew that without it taking control or giving you that necessary healing that was needed for your body in that moment, because it wasn't just the universe, it wasn't just something that was spooky, you know what I mean? And identifying and knowing those moments and counting those moments, And when you count those moments, that's going to bring Paul. Not only it's not only going to humble, but it's going to bring about gratefulness. You're going to be able to know gratefulness at a whole nother level.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's true. One of the things you said, you get what you give, but a lot of times with them, their mentality is you get what you take, and
Mm.
they take, but they take it at a different level. They take it on a white collar perspective as opposed to, being in the hood, a blue collar, if you will. You know what I'm saying? But they look down at the one that's taking it, you know, by physical force as opposed to the way that they're taking it. But they're no better than, and they think that they're better than the one that's out there. So no, he's scratching and surviving, trying to get along just like you are. But what happens is the opportunities that you have, you don't want to share them, or you don't want to give any insight to them. You want to keep it all to yourself. And that's part of the problem, where the problem lies, because you are where you are, and you don't want me to come to where you are. Or anytime I try to get to where you are, you change the rules of engagement. That's what they're doing now. Oh my God, this is
Right.
so
So
crazy.
so it's fair to say that in this time and in this day, that information is truly the power. And those
Oh
who
yeah,
do not have the information does not yearn for the information, but not just information. Let me just put it like this: truth,
yep.
right? Because it's about truth in that information. So when you get this truth, you're able to excel bounds beyond where
Yeah.
we at right now. But it's about having the right information. I had this conversation with Brother Chris and Brother Akil today before a group, and it was for me just saying, with the right, if you ask the right question while incarcerated, you could potentially get free. But if you don't know what the right question is because you're emotional and you're going through a lot of different scenarios in your life all at once while you're incarcerated, you're not going to focus on the right question to ask. You're going to focus on every scenario that is presenting itself to you, and that with urgency, you will respond to each one as your emotions see fit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it's kind of weird because that was just from being a person who was incarcerated. But when we look at things from a different perspective, we got brothers that are home right now, and we are not engaging in certain things because we are not focusing on those particular things in our life. And I think that's why I like KID, the conversation for the past couple of Saturdays, which was about prioritizing and putting things in the right
Yeah.
perspective,
Perspective.
and being able to knock out one, whatever it is, but just lining it up so when we get it to where we need it to be, everything can move efficiently. Everything can move like a well-oiled machine.
Unit.
But
Mm.
quite often we see people rusty because they don't use what we already have. You know what I mean? People are not taking the time out to work on their self because there's so many other distractions in this world that is pulling people attention. Right now, I got some brothers that'll tell me everything what's going on with the war in the Middle East. If I with one phone call, somebody will tell
Mm.
me, and that's all they think. That's all they doing is watching what's going on. And I got somebody who could tell me with another phone call that everything is going on in the hood. Like, you know what I mean? Because they in the hood with it. They know what's going on in Queensbridge. I know somebody I could call and find out almost everything that's going on in 40. Like, I got people that I can make phone calls to find out about certain things because this is the things that they engulf themselves around.
Yeah.
So now then I ask myself, this is the reason why I'm only having phone calls and I'm really not associating myself physically right now with certain individuals because that's not where I want to be. If you understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I want to be in a place where wealth and richness flows. And then not only that, but understanding the dynamics of how to get there. So I've
Yeah.
changed up the books that I'm reading.
Yeah.
So I'm reading different information now. So it's just about training my mind to humble itself to receive the information, the new information that I'm receiving, and without bias or without prejudice. I'm reading with an open mind and an open heart,
Yeah.
with intentions to change my mind, my frequency, and the way I think, because I know that the level I'm on, it gets greater later. I'm not trying to be one with dementia when I'm in my 60s and 70s and 80s. I'm not trying to do none of that. So
Mhm.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna constantly sharpen myself, constantly read certain things that can help me, humble my mind. No, you know, Dad, when you find out certain stuff, it'd just be so like, yo, how many like just for instance, I was humbled just by learning about what's this Enoch.
Okay.
You know what I mean? When I read and I got so deep in the study of Enoch, I found out that it was not only it was more than more than one Enoch in the Bible. And when I started reading and understanding the path that he took, both of them took, it was like, wow, that was humbling for me. So understanding certain things, it's like, oh, you thought you knew it all? Nah, it gets more. It's more to it.
Yeah. And the other part too with information, time, the timely information, because having information at different times allows you a nice stretch to put these things into place, and then you can reap and your generations can reap,
Mm.
you know. Um, yeah, that's a big one, man. A lot of conversations, and there's the other part too, right, Brother Kenny? Now you reading these books is changing your mindset and
Yep.
your way of thinking. That should start to show now in the conversations that you're having,
Right.
where you're sharing, waking other folks up. And this part is where it becomes an eye opener when you start to see how many people have not looked at that part of their life when they should, because they're not riches yet, right? And or they how much of your daily thinking is pulled away by concerns of money, right? I mean, think of the amount of time you spend thinking about how you can afford or pay or be paid or make more. Or what if half of that time could be given to something else, right? What if three-quarters of that time could be given to something else? And what if you got to a place now where you don't even have to think about money from a place of scarcity? Now you're thinking about what organization I can connect with to give a donation or collaborate with, and we can now take it to the next level, you know. So yeah, and approaching it from a humble place, realizing, okay, I didn't know. Now I'm learning. That's humility right there,
Yep.
right? You not being hard on yourself, right? Because we had these conversations before. Why didn't I know this before? Why did my parents see this? Why? You know what I'm saying? Now you get now, instead of being humble, now you being vindictive, right? Now you angry at mom and dad because they didn't show you this, or whoever raised you, right? And why didn't y'all show me this, right? And now all that now take you all away from the information that you're supposed to be getting, because now you've put your humbleness to the side, and now you're moving with a different energy. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. I mean, humility, you being humble allows you to have those conversations. Let me tell you something. One of the most amazing conversations I've been having is with people that retired early. When I say retire early, kind of like the American way of retirement is kind of working until you hit Social Security, right? Right now, anyway, where you don't have a pension, you don't have anything to fill that gap. So you got to work until you can get another paycheck. Well, I guess, I don't know, I guess Social Security considered a paycheck, right? Benefits. You got to work until you can start getting another benefit. So everybody's going to work till 65, 67 so they can get Social Security and then write that off into the sunset, right? And then
Yeah.
you talk.
Some people still work after that.
Say again?
What
Some
happened?
people still work. Some people still work after that. While they're getting that, some people still continue working because it's not enough to make ends
Yeah,
meet.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, King, you know, I mean, a lot of it is people are different in the sense that, you know, cats just look at work as their life, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, there's not a lot of there's a lot of information, but there's not a lot of even conversations happening with men in their 40s and early 50s about,
Mhm.
hey, do you even have a number? Is there a number that you have all these years you've been working to say, if I save up 100,000, if I save up 200,000 in my whatever 401k, IRA, or whatever, is there a number that says, okay, I can stop doing this 9 to 5 every single day job and roll into something else that's less, but give me more time? And then now I got time after working 10, 20, 30 years. What am I going to do with my time
Mhm.
that I don't, like you just said, want to go back to work? That's one of the most odd things that I see in my job. They worked at the college for 40 years.
What job? You talking about the military or your other job?
No, no, no. I work at Columbia University. A lot of guys, whether they be in the storeroom or janitors or whatever, 40 years, retire. And they call them back and say, hey, you want to come back and just, work, come back full time or what? And they go right back. They said, I
Why,
went
why,
home.
why, why do they go back? Because they're greedy for the money or
So
they need to?
the common thing is not the money. The common thing that I keep hearing is, what am I doing at home? I got nothing to do.
They can call you to play tennis with you.
Let me tell you something, bro. But you see, I talked about it here a couple of times, man. If you if you just I'll put it this way, Brother Kenny shares his daily routine, right? When he's like, yo, I wake up by 11. Sometimes I'm in the office by 12, 1. And 9 to 5 folks hearing these times are like, yo, what? You know,
Yeah,
but
I'm a 9 to 5. Waking up at
on
11.
a
I'm waking up at 6 a.m.
business,
every day.
right? But again, when you're talking about being an entrepreneur type person,
That's different.
or you working, let's even say shift work, right? You get a chance to be out there when the world is happening, but you not working. So you get to pick up little hobbies and find little things that you can do. So when you do retire, you got interests. You got things going on, even with your own family. But when you look at that 9 to 5 life, bro, working for a company, raised with a family, whatever, the amount of time in the day that you get outside of the weekends to just be is very limited. Between the hustle and bustle of the commute back and forth, the time you spend at work, when you come home, I mean, you really look at it. You might get like dinner depending on how far from the city you work, or whatever the case is, because the city's where the money is, so everybody try to get there. You raising your kid, but basically seeing them during the week for a few hours before they got to go to bed. It is when you really look at how the world works, especially from that 9 to 5 kind of rat race type focus. You can see how people retire and go, dude, I have no interest. What am I doing? Maybe I do golf, but how much golf can I play? So that's what they tell me. How much golf can I play? How much golf? So I just came back. I just came back. And they're happy there because that's where they've been spending all their time. And like I told you before, I felt like I got a cheat code working the off shifts, working them evenings, working those overnights for like 9 years when my kids were babies. And all the way through till they became like 9, 10. Well, the other one was like 12, spending all this time with them. Because I work midnight to 7 a.m. So when everybody went to bed, I went to work. And I came home and everybody woke up to go to school. I took them to school. And I came home. I slept while they were in school when they came out. So that was my cheat code. That was my cheat code. And I was fully aware when it was happening that, man, because I saw the dads around me. They can't coach for their kids because they got to race home from this. They can't coach. They can't take the kids to certain events. They can't do a whole bunch of stuff. And everything is, the mom is running. And the mom gets angry at the dad and he's never here. I'm like, and me and my humility state, I'm like, what do you mean your husband's never here? I said, where is he? He's at work. I said, he's at work. I said, he's at work. Without him, all the things that you're talking about don't exist. I said, how can you be looking at that as a bad thing? I said, you should be communicating this to your children. Dad is at work. He can't make it today, but he's at work. He's taking care of us. I said, how are you sitting here talking about he never here? I'm like, who are you talking about? Your husband that's at work? Do you think he wants to be here? Yeah. How are you communicating this, man? How are you communicating it? You know what I mean? So, but in that humility, being humble in that humility space, man, you can see yourself in all the craziness that's going on, and hopefully being connected to the source, being connected to God, you can start to speak to people in a from a truthful place, in a caring and loving manner, but being honest and open with them. Because I remember my wife a couple of times kind of grabbed me, how are you talking to her like that? I said, I mean, how am I talking to her? You don't go around telling people that how they talk about their husbands and that's what, why not? And then that led me in a conversation with her. I said, do you go around saying that my husband can't, do you talk about me? I said, do you talk about me like that? And she said, oh no. I said, oh, so when you tell the kids dad's at work, you be like, oh, dad's at work. He's just taking care of a couple of things. Or is it like, y'all better wait for him to come home because I ain't trying to take y'all nowhere. Yeah, all day I'm running around. And then before you come home, you get the text message, right? Like, as soon as you come through the door, please pick up the basketball and the football and the gloves, and you got to take them to the park and everything. I'm like, sweetie, I'm not even homeless.
But mentally, see, before you even get
Yeah,
there now,
like, I'm not even
that
home.
changes your whole vibration, your whole mood.
Yeah, it can, bro. It can. But again, bro, I mean, thank God, man. Thank God. When you say thank God for Jesus, thank God, man, because he he can give you that battery that's needed. That when you come into that space, being humble, allow her to be her, man. You ain't gotta correct or change. You ain't gotta do. Just allow, hopefully, right? Allow her to be her and see you come home and her come to you like this with the baby, whatever. You just happily take the baby, even though you just done a 12, 13-hour shift. Like,
Mm,
I
mm,
got this. I
That's
got,
humility.
let's go to the park. Let's
mm,
Because
and
you spend all of
consistent.
that time working and taking care of what you need to take care of as far as the bills. That takes care of the functionality of comfortability. Because in order to be comfortable, you have to work. You got to make sure the bills are paid, the lights are on, the gas is paid, you can cook, all of those different things. But see, I believe when it comes to fatherhood and humility, that's when, you know what I mean, when you do come in the house after a long day of work, and your kids is like, let's go to the park, dad, and you looking like, yo, do you even understand what I went through? But yet you don't say it. You say, okay, let's go to the park, because now I'm gonna spend this time with you. Now I'm going to allow you to have a moment with dad,
Mhm.
because that's what you wanted. That's what you was waiting for all day. Obviously, because as soon as I came in the house, you just ran and jumped and said, "Let's go to the park or do something."
Yeah.
And I think as fathers, um we find ourselves in those positions quite often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not only with the kids, because for those of us who are married, we understand that there's some times that we may not want to do certain things, but our wives, it's like, oh, I want to do this, and like in the back of your mind, it's like, I really don't want to do this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
to be happy, and you just say, you know what, okay, I'm gonna do this.
As you talking about it, Kenny, and I remember it was a few calls ago, you kind of hinted at, you know, folks who are working for somebody else, about joining up with the organization with faith, to start in the sense of like, you know, working, earning a living, but not necessarily working a 9 to 5, but you can still earn a living. You mentioned something about along the line of like entrepreneurship or something like that. Can't remember exactly what you said, but it stayed with me because, as you're talking about being on this financial journey, a part of that can now be the resources that you have can start to work 3 of those hours,
mm.
right? Or 5 of those hours. So now from your assets, right? They can be working for you, bringing you in an income to the point where now you can start to work less because the money is coming in from the money that you've earned, right? That money is now working for you to a place where folks are now almost matching their income from those resources,
Right.
right? Now, whether it means you lower your cost of living, or try to restructure your quality of life, so maybe you can live on $5,000 a month, maybe versus $8,000 a month, instead of and have your funds or your investments or whatever kick off that kind of a profit for you, where now you have time, you
I'm
know?
I'm definitely I'm definitely understanding things from different perspectives. I'm currently reading. I'm actually probably reading for the second or third time. What would the Rockefellers do?
Yeah,
Which is this book right here.
yeah,
And in this book right here is breaking down a lot of different things. And then the next read for me is the
yeah,
Living Trust and whatnot. So these are particular books
yeah.
that are assisting me in understanding how to create a bank,
Move the other one, the white one over.
What
to
would the
create
Rockefellers do?
to create
Oh,
a bank for the family, and know how to buy and pay off vehicles. Like I can go to a lot and providing how I got things set up with my whole life insurance policy,
Yeah.
I could literally go on a lot, BMW, whatever, and say I want this and get that and drive off the lot because I don't have to go to a bank. I am the bank, if that makes sense. But it teaches you how to become the bank
Set yourself
um
up.
for your family with this
Mhm.
saying like, just life insurance policies on from young to old. If you
Yeah.
got,
Well, it depends
parents,
on which
huh?
license policy you have.
Yeah, it's like just having a full full life insurance policy on from
Whole
young to
life.
old in your family. And
You're
every time
pro-life, right?
somebody,
Yeah.
huh? Every
Whole
time
No, I
life.
was
somebody,
saying, sorry, I didn't mean to, but I'm sorry, Brother Kenny.
now
I
go ahead.
apologize. No, because you're talking about life insurance policy. I mean, that's a loaded comment. You educate, this is being recorded, educate everybody. It's not just any life insurance policy is going to allow that. And the brother, Dwayne said pro-life. That's the
Yeah,
one that
whole
we're
life.
talking about where you can get the money out and take it out, residual and all that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it replenishes itself every time somebody pass away, in your family. That's where the trust comes into play at. So it's just
Yeah.
about setting things up in that magnitude where when we get older, or those
Yeah.
who are already old in our families, they already at a certain age, tying them into the family trust and saying, listen, this is what we can do together and to leave a structure, morals, values, principles, right
Yeah.
behind that's going to establish a certain kind of leader and leadership from your family to move into another level in their lives. So it's really just having knowledge and knowing that
Yeah.
the knowledge is only obtained when you start to read, when you start to listen into other things and wanting to have that. You want it, you just gotta want it. And once you have it, it's like I tell you, it's the most humbling experience. Because imagine going to places where you study so much of this stuff and you know it, and then other people are here talking about they teaching it. So a lot of times you be like, I know it, I know it, I know it. But he who knows doesn't tell, and he who tells really doesn't know.
Mm.
Mm, mm. You know,
Yeah,
there's a
man.
lot of urban youth. Sorry,
No,
Yeah.
no, please go ahead.
you know,
So it's good to
you
just
guys all
sometimes
know the
just be
old saying.
quiet and listen.
If you want to, sorry, you know the old saying. You know, if you want to keep something away from a black person, you put it in the book. That
Hmm.
old saying. And a lot
Yeah.
of urban youth and a lot of urban OGs don't know much about this stuff that we talk about. I'm being real with you. They really don't know. They're set in their ways. It wasn't taught. It wasn't. You know, look how the entertainment business is designed. They exploit us to make sure Fubu's falls by us. I get it, but they exploit us to make sure. Look at the 80s and the 90s. The gold chains and champagne, and even though I couldn't afford it, I mean, I could afford it, but that's not smart. It's not a smart investment. Me popping bottles at clubs in the early 90s, Don Perignon just to play the star at the bar. You get me, Jonas 80? When you
Yeah.
go back and look at that, that's thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars monthly. When another class of people,
Yeah.
and for what though? To piss it out? No, I'm being real. I can't talk for. I can only talk for myself.
Yeah.
That's why when people say, "Oh, you criticize people," I'm criticizing me. This
Hmm.
is my life. I can do that. I can't sue myself. What you gonna do? It's like thousands, sue literally thousands. Right? Monthly? If you're going out 6 times a week, 7 times, that's thousands of dollars. So when you think the other class of people or a group of people is thinking with a different mindset, they're like, okay, vibration. They're not even investing thousands a month. It's a fraction. You dig? So I'm just pissing it away. It's just where you're at. You get me
The
trying to
time.
say?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we was
That's
talking about
it.
before, right? The time. The time in
Yeah.
the time in whatever it is that you're doing. You're fortunate to learn this stuff, and then, depending on how old you are, right? You got to share this stuff and pass it on,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, and And you got to do it in a way where it's almost like, like even with your kids, right? Like it's subtle. It can't be like it can't be forceful just because you got to it late. Now you all anxious and nervous, and now you're trying to pass that on to the young folks looking you're like, nah, man, I'm trying to stay. I'm young. I'm never gonna get old. So saving. I ain't trying to save nothing. You know what I mean? But the other part of this too, right? And brother Dwayne can probably speak a little bit on it since he's already retired. But when do you start enjoying the fruits of your labor? To a certain extent, right? To a certain extent, because yeah, you have kids, you're thinking about the future generations and everything else. But when do you, or do you, or do you put it off and give it to the next generation, and you just build, 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 right? So that's part of the conversation too. Like maybe not what King and D is saying. Maybe not in the beginning stages you want to ball out, right? Because you want to get those thousands in.
Man, you don't want to ball out at all. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't be balling out at all. Balling? No way.
Maybe,
Knowing
maybe,
what I know
right?
now,
Maybe not in the like necessarily popping balls, right? I mean that can be a little out there, but
right?
in the same
Knowing
sense of your enjoying certain things that maybe you'd be like, that might be too expensive. Maybe that vacation is a little pricey, but you know what? Let's go enjoy that experience. Or thinking about things from not just the cost of it, but what would it mean for my family if we visited XYZ
But see,
at an age?
that's you thinking with a sound mind. So I agree with you. I concur to everything you're saying. That's using see that's critical thinking and that's using perspective. Okay, what can I do? Once in a while, they don't wrong popping the bottle with your family.
No,
Once in a while for
no,
special occasion.
yeah, yeah.
You doing it every 2 days. That's a problem. You understand? Rich dad, poor dad. You dig what I'm saying to you? That's the bottom line.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
And
agree
then
with you. No, I'm
yeah.
doubling down. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, no, it's
oh,
just for me, it's just been like personally, like when when do you do it, right? When your
When do you do
mindset
what?
and
Pop the bottle, or when do you?
no, when do you start to enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? Age wise or mindset wise or family growth level wise, kids are at 9, 10, they can enjoy a 20-hour flight to Thailand or right. And when do you decide, not anything specific like that, but the big ticket spending items, feeling comfortable doing it to build experience for your family, that kind of stuff. And because there's a lot of
all of
stuff to
that,
tell you how to be a better employee.
all of that's going to be on timing. You know what I mean? And it comes from the right timing for vacations and bucket list trips. All of that has to do with timing, and it's the same thing with information. Certain information for individuals, it can't be received too early, and it may not be able or at the right time in their life that they are able to receive that information and process it in the way that they need to be processed in order for it to be fruitful in their lives.
Mhm.
So even now, if somebody's watching this, like, some of the stuff that we're talking about is going to go over their head because it just probably wasn't the time in their life for them to receive the information.
Yeah.
But they're even right now for me, like, I believe it's the time is now for me to receive it. Why? Because I'm seeking it. I'm knocking on the door. And they said, if you knock, it will be answered. It will be open. So I'm on that timing right now where I have to read. I have to take the time out. I have to study. I still have graduation. I get a doctorate on the 23rd of this month
Let's
for
go.
humanities. And then I get my chaplaincy in June, actually the day of the fundraiser, which is going to be in the early part of the day. So in June 6th, I'll be doing that. And I'll be getting my chaplain, be Chaplain Carter for real.
That's what's up, man.
Um,
Congratulations.
so there's things that I'm doing to go forward with positive motivation towards kingdom goals and ambitions. So I know that I have to humble myself. I have to have a sense of humility to know that I'm not doing this by myself.
Mm,
I'm not here. Nobody would have told me 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago that I'd be getting a doctorate. Nobody could have told me that I'd be a chaplain at all.
mm,
Like these are certain things that my path is just the path that I'm on. I'm not questioning it because at the end it's like it's all for the glory of his good, not my good, but the
mm,
good of the kingdom that I'm a citizen of. So
mm,
I know that doing the work that I'm doing, all it does is add on to what God is doing in my life. It adds on. It gives for me, I look at it, it gives them a reason to keep me alive. Keep me alive for
Mm.
another day. And the following day and the following day. I never want to be useless in this time of my life. Because when I
Amen.
become useless, then that means he has no use for me. You mean God can't use me for nothing? I can't save, I can't help, I can't put a word, I
mm.
can't do a message, nothing.
Mm.
In the Bible, there was a brief, it was a scripture about the fishermen the night before. They uh they were fishing all night, they didn't catch nothing. This was after Jesus's crucifixion. They see another guy, a man who's naked on the shore of the beach. The shore of the beach, they're about a good 30 to 40 feet out in the water with their nets. And the guy says, cast your net on the right side of the boat. They do it. They pull up so many fish that they couldn't almost, it almost broke. I think it was about 120 something, 125 fish or something like that,
Yeesh.
all at one time. And when they got to the shore, at first they was like, is that the Messiah? Is that him? And they was like, nah, they didn't recognize him. But then he told, I believe, Peter, and he says, once they identified it, said that's him. Said, do you love me?
Mm.
He asked him this 3 times. And every time he said, do you love me? He said, if you love me, then feed my sheep. If you love me, feed my sheep. He said it over 3 times, which only meant that we have a goal. We have not even goal, but we have a mandate. If we love God, it is our obligation to be able to feed his sheep. His sheep are those individuals who are in the wilderness right now and have no idea about his word, how edifying his word is.
Mm.
It will humble not only our spirits, but it will humble other individuals' spirits that are in the earshot of his word.
Mm.
Because there's certain scriptures that'll be read at a particular time. If sometimes you just open up the Bible and it's just like, yo, how did I even get here? But it's talking all to you. For me, those are humbling experiences. And I know once I'm able to memorize the scriptures as I should, then I'll be able to reference them in conversations where it may elevate another person that needs it at that moment. Because sometimes, if not all the time, we have to be able to edify our spirit. A lot often we feed our flesh consistently. We feed our flesh. Spiritually, a lot of us are malnutrition. Spiritually, we don't even have a real good relationship because we don't give out the worship that we need to give out to our Father who art in heaven. And
Uh,
due to the fact that we're his masterpieces here on earth, allow him to use us. That's why we are considered to be his masterpieces.
Mm. Well spoken. Mm. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah,
Amen. It's real.
Hey,
Takes
we're
some
two or
wisdom.
more, right? Two or more. That's it.
Well,
yeah,
but Brother Howell, you said something, you know. Well, Ken, you said something too. You said 15, 20 years ago that you would get a doctorate, you being there, you know what I mean? Yeah, and that's now. Imagine 10 years from now where you're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? But Brother Howell, you did say something. You said, when do you enjoy the fruits of your labor, all this work? We can backtrack too. I take vacations with the family every year, every 2 years, whatever. Like lavish ones, save up for it. However, when you give, I had my children on first class at a young age to the point where when I can't afford first class, the two boys are gone. There's only two of them left here. It's a family of six in first class. It's a lot of money. If you buy it 2 months, 3 months in advance, you're getting all right. If you buy it 2 weeks in advance, it's going to be very pricey depending on what you're doing. You dig what I'm saying to you? So it's
Yeah,
just throwing
yeah,
away your money. And I'm criticizing myself. I'm criticizing nobody. I'm very hard on myself. That's why I'm hard on other people because I'm harder on myself. You know, the plane's going to get there, same destination, whether you're in first class or not. I promise you, it's going to get there. And if it's a 5 or 6 hour flight, if I'm going to LA by myself, yeah, I'm definitely taking first if I can afford it.
yeah,
6 hours so I can
yeah,
sleep. Six people, first class Aruba, you know, 3 times,
yeah,
3 years in a row. You can do the math. It's doesn't
yeah.
matter. So it's not that
Mm.
you have to be careful with that because now I'm raising a monster. Even if I tell my children, like or one of my kids, hey man, you guys have to be humble. Like you have to understand something. This is not always going to be this way. Doesn't matter. You don't back down on people. Like you guys are really into the word, into the Bible, and all that stuff. So I'm not as deep as obviously you guys, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm very honest. You guys know about the prodigal son, right? Obviously,
Mm.
it's not that the prodigal son didn't get what he didn't deserve. The prodigal son got what he deserved too soon. That's why he landed in the pig pen. You dig what I'm trying to say? That's the problem right there. He got it too soon. There was no process. If there was a process where he earned it and understood it, same thing with Saddam Hussein's son Uday. If there was a process and he earned it, that's why I have to respect Shaquille O'Neal. I have to. Y'all not rich, I'm rich. I'm not gonna just give you money, and that's his children. He's serious, So that right there, hopefully that didn't go over your head. I can go more deep into it, but I'm sure that we all understand the point that I'm making here. You dig what I'm
Hmm.
saying? That's my piece. Mr. Brother Howard, you look like you're a little confused.
No, no, no. The little bit that I've understand so far with like, raising children, especially once they become that, teenage years and stuff. Even before that, man, is being an example, you know what I mean? Being the example that you want to share with them. Um, you know, talking to them, not from yeah, because I mean, I don't the idea of spoiling your child, like and like knowing that you're spoiling your child, that's something that maybe I don't really I don't really fully understand how like you're knowing that you're doing something that is not going to benefit your child.
How long you been in the military?
Um, 31 now.
All right. You have a different discipline than the average civilian, and you know it. Now, hold on. Add the word to it. Add the blood of Christ to it. You're on steroids compared to the average
I'm a
individual.
steroid.
No, no, no,
I'm
no. I'm serious. I'm giving you glory. Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm using different phrases. I talk different. But you have to
yeah.
understand something. You're an old school military person. Now, I'll show you some new school military guys that I rock with that has no discipline. So you understand the discipline and you understand the word. You put those two together, forget it. And you live by it. You're not just saying it. You're not
Mm,
saying the word to gain personal gain. You dig what I'm saying to you? That's what makes you different. So you'll never understand somebody else like me. I don't understand junkies. How could you do? Why would you want to
Yeah.
know? You dig? I'm not a junkie.
Yeah.
I'm not in that realm, and I never will be in that realm, God. You dig what I'm saying? Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think even if it doesn't make sense,
No, no, no,
I
no, no. It has to make sense what I
But
just said.
even if it doesn't make sense.
so
No, no,
even
no. I
if it
said what I
does,
said.
so
It has to
I'll
make
put it
sense
this,
to you.
but
What I
I guess
just said.
I started the conversation saying that I don't fully understand if you're doing something that you know as a parent you're not happy with to
They don't
continue
know.
to continue doing.
They don't know
Okay.
that.
Well, I guess okay.
They don't know that. It's after. See, but what I just said about the politics, it's afterwards. Listen, hindsight is 2020. All right. While it's
Mhm.
happening, it ain't hindsight. It's later on. What did I
Oh,
just tell you? 30 years ago, I'm 50. I'll be 51 in July. I know what I was doing in
yeah,
1998. I know what I was doing in 95.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
later on you realize, damn, would have, could have, should have. When you start
Okay.
slowing down, some people never slow down.
Hmm.
Never. They keep going still. Train wreck.
Hmm.
I'm at the moment. You don't know what you're doing is wrong. You think in the first class is right. You thinking that I'm gonna give you everything I didn't have, and I mean everything.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You think you don't realize it. It's the truth.
Mm.
You feel
That's
that?
like
That's where I'm coming from. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
no,
Go ahead.
No, that's peace, man. That's peace. Yeah,
let's
no, no,
No,
I
no.
got you.
say that's like
We're
with
on the
Ti
same
and his
frequency,
son.
Howard. Mhm.
Like Ti with his son right now, how he
Oh,
gave when he said, you know what, I done messed up because I tried to give him everything I didn't have, but he just took it totally out of control. So he got to learn to be a man. He got to suffer for the consequences of his actions. Just continuing to do all of this stuff. And as a parent growing up, it's like, oh, I just want him to have this, I want him to have that, and not realizing the fact that you got it because you worked hard for it, and they got it because they feel like they're entitled to it. You know what I'm
right.
saying? But like, you ain't entitled to nothing. And once they realize that, once we break that sometimes it's a level of guilt. Oh well, I'm working all these hours, so I don't have the time to do that. So let me just buy him this, or let me just buy him that. No,
Mm.
spend some of that quality time because time is precious, and that's
Priceless.
the
Mm.
one thing you're not gonna get back. That's where I'm at.
Mm. Yeah.
Lost focus.
So, brothers, man, I think we done said everything that could have been said, and if we didn't say it, then they gonna catch us next week. But I believe that this was a good conversation. I know it made me look at some things different as
Yeah.
well. I don't know about you guys, but I know
Same,
I got
same.
something out of it.
Yeah, man. Always do, brother. Always do. Yeah, yeah,
I'll drop some jewels today. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Um, and what you said, brother Kenny, that's what you want to get out of it. Every interaction, you want to go inward. You want to look at yourself.
Mhm.
That's how you know you had a
Growth and
meaningful
development.
experience. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
painful though. It's
Yeah.
painful. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
it's
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 painful.
big pain.
Yeah.
Don't
It
Yeah.
think
brings
it's
you to
not.
your knees, man. When you look back, it just brings you to your knees. It's the truth.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
front. It's
Yeah.
painful. You
But
did.
that's where the growth happens. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
now you can share that. From a place of understanding that. Yep. I did that. I did that.
Mm.
All right. I own that. You own it. And now you move forward, man. And now you try to make, I'm saying, try to make the next steps better. Um,
Amen. Yeah.
that's all we really can do, man. And like you said, brother Kenny, what you're learning now, the best part about it for me, I mean, I have been very successful with my wife with bringing her on board with some of these newer understandings that have come about because she's steadfast in hers, but with the kids, man, with the kids, it's well, he's a teenager now. He's not a kid anymore. But
Oh, he's still a kid.
100%, man, 100%, yeah.
He's your kid.
They're getting it. They're getting it, and they're asking questions, you know, um, about like, finances and having these conversations with my brothers and having a where they're around, you're hearing certain terms, and just very subtle stuff. Not directly at them, but he just got a little $50 for his birthday. He's like, Dad, invest 25 and give me 25. I got to spend.
That's
Oh,
dope.
really? Wow, that's excellent.
That's dope. That's dope. See,
That's
that's what's
definitely.
up. There
That's one
you
of the
go.
moments, I was like, "Ooh."
That's what's up right there.
That's a whole
Yep. There you
50%.
go.
Oh Lord, I said, all right, I'll
That's what's
take.
up, man.
You know,
You did a great job, man. That's
thank
what's
God,
up.
man. Thank God. It's because the thing is, that's what the back to the word, right? Humbleness. You don't know
Mm,
what you're doing, Brother Kenny talk about who and how it's affecting the environment. You don't know.
bang.
And when it comes back to you, and you're like, I did what? Oh yeah, I saw you that day and how you were walking, and I heard you say something to that person. 2 days later, I thought about it, and I decided to go back to college. And you sitting down there like, all I did was shake this brother's hand and say, "Hey, how you doing?" But you planted something in that interaction that festered out and got bro. It's but when you walk in that humbleness, man, that humility space, it's oof,
Mm,
you like your own atmosphere, bro, and you do it with such ease and what is it, not boisterousness. You're not boisterous with it. You're not loud with it. You know, because like you said, with those folks that might have had billions and millions, right? They want to walk in the same space and just be around, and they're not identifying themselves. And this is the big part, right? You don't identify yourself with the money. The money is just something that has been earned to whatever means that's available to you and your family. It's not who you are. You're not the money, right? And that's how it goes with all this stuff. You try to identify yourself with these things instead of the source, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think
mm.
I've said all I can say, and brothers, as always, man, appreciate you guys and input. Brother Kenny, thanks for the
It
call.
was. It
You know,
was.
say, hey,
Definitely.
what's on your
Brother
mind, brother?
Dwayne, brother Dwayne, you able to take us out in prayer? What?
Oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Hold on. Heavenly, most gracious Father, thank you. Thank you for yet another day, yet another week, where the brothers can come together and discuss the things of life that are going on in this world today, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to lift each other up, to encourage each other, to challenge each other for greatness, because we know that greatness is the destiny, because it is your desire that we prosper. And this is what we're trying to do, God. Trying to keep our minds stayed on you and look to enlarge the kingdom by bringing other brothers into the kingdom, letting them wake up from their darkness, from their sleeping eyes, for them to see that there is glory on the other side. God, I just ask you just to continue to touch us and bless us and keep our families and our communities safe from all hurt, harm, and danger, and just take us through till we meet again. In Jesus' precious name, say amen. Amen. All right, my brothers.
All right, brothers.
Till the next time.
Yes,
Yo,
sure. And
later.
God
brother
bless you,
Dwayne,
brothers.
I received that word, man. I'm gonna reach out to that brother, see if he and I invite him to the next one.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
the guy
That's
that's
just
the
something.
obese guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
You got his phone number?
Our kids play sports
Let's see
together.
him. Let's
Yeah,
see him in the park.
yeah. I
And
see him
next
all the
time we
time.
bring the ring, bring the glove and the racket and all that other
Yeah,
stuff
that's how
You
out
you
don't
there.
know
got
what he's
on.
going
And,
to.
and, and not for nothing, a lot of times when people find themselves purposeless, the good thing is you find someone with a purpose and you lock
Mm-hmm.
in. And when
Yep.
you lock in with that person with that purpose, eventually you'll fall into your purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
not to say that the whatever their purpose is your purpose, no. But while you're doing the work, you will come across people, places, or things that's going to just connect those dots, and then you'll fall into where you need to fall into.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think,
Definitely.
personally, I think that's how you experience God in this earth, man. That's the heaven on earth, bro.
Mm.
That's part of
Amen.
that heaven on earth.
Yep.
Before we go, Kenny, you did the. I agree with you, brother Howard. It is
Yes,
heaven
sir.
on earth. You did that gig by yourself? Yeah, I was working, brother. I was working a double that Saturday. I couldn't come. I wish you would have told me to do it.
Not yeah. I ended up doing. I had to. I didn't do it with another person. I had to
You did it
leave the
by
guy.
yourself?
Yeah.
By yourself?
No, I had two other guys with me, but they weren't from my company. So the thing was, I supposed to have brought somebody from
You
my
should have
company.
asked him. Yeah, man. When you get stuff
But
online,
moving
man,
forward,
ask
I
them.
got the
Ask them how much
contract
they
now.
paying. Ask them how much they paying for armed. You never know. Actually, you don't want armed. That's a liability.
Yeah.
You don't want armed. It'll
No,
work.
I got it's a that's a whole nother contract. I got the contract now where I'm providing the security for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Out there?
Yeah.
That's far, man. How far is that, man? Like an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
bro.
like I said, for me, it's starting at $30 an hour.
But how far is it? I'm asking you.
It's the Hamptons. I think
So how
It's
far
always
is it?
there.
2 hours? So you're not
well,
answering the question.
for
Yeah,
me it
about
was 3 hours because of the
yeah.
traffic. When I came home, it was only an hour and
And
like
45.
40 something minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
two
it's about
hours.
2 hours without traffic. It's 2 hours without
Right.
Yeah.
traffic. Yeah. You can't count traffic. I'm talking without traffic, how far is
And
Yeah.
without traffic, 2 hours I was home.
it? It's
So
30 cent.
going, it was a
30
little
cent
bit
an hour. It's
difficult.
30 cent an hour.
Yeah.
Mm,
In the
okay.
summertime is even gonna be
A little bit more.
more hours because the venue is dope. It's a dope venue, man. I ain't
Which
gonna hold
venue were
you.
you at?
It's very prestigious. Um, tell you the name of it right now.
Mhm.
You can stop recording now, man.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah. You get out of business. You know what I'm saying? Like this has nothing to do with the